Good evening, lads. How are we?
Evening.
Oh, good, thanks. You?
Yeah, not too bad.
Not too bad, not too bad. Real quick, people who may not know who are watching, please introduce yourselves, what you play, what you do, all that stuff. Want to hear it.
Connor, you crack on.
I'm Connor or Bish. I'm the drummer. That's pretty much all I do. I'm not going to touch any other instrument.
Bish.
My second name's Bishop. It's not that fancy.
I was going to say. Okay, right, cool.
Yeah. I play occasionally. I play a bit of tambourine, but that goes on my hi-hat. So, and
you got those little shaking egg things.
the shaking eggs. Yeah.
He loves his eggs.
I love. Yeah. I've got some South African little drum thing, but I've never used it. It just comes out.
Wait, you said he had some tiny South African drum kit, like an actual human being.
No, I'll just break out a party.
It just comes out. Right.
They actually, you tried to. What did you and Charlie buy me once? A flipping cajon. You got me a cajon for my birthday, and I just can't figure it out. We tried to do it for a cover, and my hands just don't work without sticks being in them. So,
yeah.
Jesus,
it's now in the music room, and it's just we use it as like an extra seat for like when people come over. And that
nice.
When we have guests, yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I'm Jacob, and I am the front man. I do the singing and the guitar bit. And then there is Charlie as well, but he's
not here.
He's ill. He's an
Couldn't
ill man.
make it.
Charlie does everything.
Charlie does everything else. Charlie's the main man. It's a shame he's not here.
Charlie's the bass man who wears Birkenstocks and.
Nice.
Yeah.
Birkenstocks faces. Yeah.
Fair play to him. I mean, like, even though one man down tonight, you were supposed to be, all three of you were supposed to be playing a gig. This must have been last week now. And you were so close.
Yeah.
You were like so close. You were supposed to play on the 19th for distance gig. Obviously, it couldn't happen because of the tier system. How are you feeling, given that you were that close? But how were you feeling before thinking, oh, we're going to play a gig? What was the mindset? Was it like nervous? Was it confusion? What was it?
It was 2 weeks to get a whole set that we haven't played in months down with each other.
It went from being a complete disaster to like absolutely buzzing for it in the space of about 2 seconds, weren't it?
Then complete disaster again because just before it or just after the tier systems, I ended up getting COVID from work, so we couldn't do it anyway.
Yeah.
So I took a test and then I was like to my managers, I think I need to go home.
Yeah.
And so I ended up going home. I wasn't quite convinced that I had it because it was before I had symptoms.
Right, yeah.
And then so we were waiting to get the result back from that to then confirm if we could carry on. So we had to stop our practice completely. And then we're going to rely on that to confirm it. And then the tier system went to tier 4, and then the day after that I was confirmed positive. So it was basically, we were cursed from the very beginning.
Yeah.
It's good as well. We got like a few new tracks we were going to play because it was just slightly, we could have had up, I think we could have had up to an hour, can't you? I think
something like that. Yeah, you can have hour max.
Obviously, there's only like the one band, or maybe you might get support as well. But yeah, it was good. We had like a couple of new tracks lined up, a couple of covers and that. But hopefully next year.
Hopefully next year.
We picked our song to come on to as well. We're going to come on to a Hans Zimmer song.
Oh, wait. Which one? Don't.
You ever seen True Romance?
Yeah, You're So Cool.
Oh, mate, yeah. I haven't seen that for a hot minute, you know. I remember loving it when I watched it.
I watched it the first lockdown. I was like, we were practicing. You got a new MIDI keyboard, didn't you, Jock? And he started playing the tune on the keyboard next to me.
Yeah, but they were like that. It's quite a good like juxtaposition, isn't it? Like that, and then coming out, and then just like thrashing
tearing stuff up.
Punk song, like it's quite a nice contrast to sound. We thought it'd be all right, but yeah, it mightn't work at all. It might have been for the best that the thing got cancelled. So.
I'm thinking of the right one, right? Christian Slater talks to Elvis as his imaginary friend. That's what I'm thinking of, right? Yeah. Gary Oldman's drugged it. Right, okay, cool, yeah. That I reckon he would have got away with it. Dreadlocks and his shades and.
I didn't even know it was Gary Oldman till like the very end. I was like, oh damn, that's Gary Oldman.
It freaked me out.
I just always remember the lamp. He's got that massive. They're like sitting on that table, aren't they?
Yeah.
Throwing this lamp around everyone, like this menacing performance, like off the wall.
So, were you playing mainly in St Albans before this sort of thing was happening? Were you playing mainly in St Albans, or was it more like Luton, Bedfordshire sort of gigs? How was the transition?
We got into Luton like quite late, actually. So our first gig as a band was at the Fiddler's Elbow, and everything.
Like Camden, yeah. Yeah.
Everything that went wrong could have possibly have went wrong. My snare drum broke.
Oh, right.
I had to borrow. The other band wouldn't let me use their snare drum, so I had to borrow one off some guy's girlfriend or something.
I lived upstairs, didn't she?
She lived upstairs, yeah.
It's
And
so weird.
I just opened my case and I was like, "Sound don't sound right." And I was like, "Oh, this ain't meant to be hanging off, is it?" Yeah.
That's
And
just Camden, isn't it? Someone's
Yeah.
got a snare drum upstairs.
Yeah. But and then after that, it was just all we played the horn for ages, didn't we, John?
Yeah, we played. The only other place in St Albans we played is Ye Old Fighting Cocks. I think that's the only other one. But yeah, because so we were sort of just like playing a load of places around London, you know, not getting that great gigs. You know, you take a few people, there's bug all other people there. Oh, sorry. And then
sorry, that one's colourful. I'll let that. That's cool.
We clocked on the Vandalism Begins at Home was about in Luton, and we got a bed on that. I managed to get a gig there, and it kind of just went from strength to strength, really. So we've been playing a lot there, to be fair, like different venues around Luton. But yeah, like we've played, I don't know, as Sourdough maybe 4 or 5 times.
I think probably maybe more than a bit more than that.
Yeah.
Yes, mate.
Yes. Said, like 5 minutes.
Yeah, we played the horn loads though. To be that first year of gigging, I think we probably done way too many gigs. Then it was like 3 gigs a week. It was just my dad and
a lot. Not in the horn. We weren't just like playing the horn.
Yeah, well, every day.
Every day.
In the horn.
Look, can we do another one?
We'll do 2 sets if we can.
We're sleeping here. It's fine. We'll just stay here.
We were doing. We sort of panic gigged. We just did as many as we could.
I was so tired by the end of it. It was like we're like Thursday, Friday, maybe a Saturday if we could get one. It'd be like London, St Albans, Luton, and then I think we decided to rein it in a little bit.
It's not the best thing to do.
No, because you end up with like 5 people at like 3 different gigs, and then you do one every you do 2 like a month or something, and then like you get like a good crowd of like 20, 30 odd people. Right. None of us drove either.
Relied on Bish's dad mainly.
We ended up buying him he got the first official Sourdough merch, and it said Crew on the back.
Nice.
I thought, maybe we were rubbing it in a little bit by putting Crew on the back. Like, we'll give you a shirt, but you still got to know your place. That was, and being stuck in the back of the car for like 2 hours with everyone 3 times a week. You know, I could really do the tour bus right now or something, but we're not quite there.
I mean, like, were the I'm wondering where like obviously it's quite a weird question to ask because some would be quite similar. Were the music scenes or audiences different that you get in each sort of little town you go to? Obviously they're all close together, but like, would you ever play in Luton and think, oh yeah, this is what we'd expect to see, or play St Albans and expect to see that certain band? I'm wondering, does it ever pick up a certain flavour, or is it all mostly the same across the board?
I think certainly like places like St Albans around that area, from like, because we're from like Houghton Regis and Dunstable, so everyone automatically always assumes that it's all posh people. So yeah, I know, it's definitely not. And then you kind of get to a gig and you realise unless you haven't been matched with the right bands, then it's just everyone's there for the same thing, kind of thing. Like we've had a few gigs where we've had some bad ones. We've had some gigs where we've been on with some people and we think, whoever's booking us just hasn't listened to our music or hasn't listened to anyone else.
That was that one in London, weren't it, last year?
Oh man, yeah.
Where was it?
The Hope and Anchor.
No, the Underbelly. What's it? Underbelly. It's
Siegfried von Underbelly.
Yeah, well, I don't know what it's called now. But yeah, there was like these like it was decent stuff, and there was like 3 bands. They were just doing like these really. There was like one band that had like 2 keyboards, and they were just all of these.
That sounds sick.
Stuff. And then and it was just us shouting at people for half an hour afterwards. It doesn't work.
Yeah, there was like some really melodic like Radiohead bands, and I just looked at Jock and was like, "You ready to go on?
You ready to go on?"
And it was like loads of like old people, like loads of like old people and their mums and stuff in the audience, and like, we've just got to get on there and like swear at people for like 45 minutes. They're really not going to enjoy this.
It can be a pleasant surprise as well.
Yeah, it can be.
When you get the right sort of crossover of fans, like, it works quite well.
I mean, how did it go down in the end then? You mentioned you're following the melodic Radiohead band. I'm curious, how did half an hour of shouting go down?
It didn't go well.
Didn't go well.
we enjoyed it, but there was no one there by the time.
The woman who booked us wasn't even there either, so we like didn't even know what to do once we got there. Yeah. We turn up and the bloke's like searching our bags and stuff, and I've got a symbol bag. Yeah, I had a symbol bag, and I'm like, mate, like literally, you can see that there's one symbol. You don't have to check all of the symbols. I've not got any weapons or anything on me. And he checked my snare drum bag. He was like checking everything. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna leave it in front of you. Do what you want. Like, and it took us about 45 minutes to get into the actual venue.
That's not on.
Yeah,
that's not it.
Fighting Cocks though, when we had a good experience there, actually, didn't we? When we played that, because you remember, like, so I think we were on last, and there wasn't like loads of people in there. There's probably about, I don't know, like 30 people in there. But in the Fighting Cocks, you only need about 30 people in there.
Well, exactly. Not even that. The ceiling's at this big.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
I was like,
I was right in the corner as well. They're like, "Can you move your drum kit back?" And I was like, "I literally can't move. I was stuck like this in the corner." Oh, it's just
everyone like started kicking off, didn't they? Like,
I saw a video of these kids jumping on each other.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a mosh kind of thing.
I think George split his eyebrow open, didn't he?
No, well, he reopened he rode a bike into a wall a couple of days before. Went and got some stitches, and then got beaten up by a 15-year-old, and then had to go back to the hospital.
In a mosh pit at one of our gigs. Yeah.
Wait, why did he ride his bike into a wall?
I think he was drunk. I'm not really sure. I don't think it was his bike. Well, that makes any difference.
I like how your answer was, I don't know. He was drunk. It wasn't his bike. You mentioned Vandalism at Home, and that's kind of where I first picked up on you guys, because I remember seeing you at the Horn. Gee, this must have been a year or so ago. It was one of those, like a rock night. I think you're playing with the Visitors or Coretta. This must have been a couple of years, year or so ago.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Thomas Townsend's band.
Yeah. Vandalism put out a covers sort of CD, didn't they, recently, or sort of like compilation of bands, and you covered Midnight Man by Nick Cave. Yeah. That I love, because I love Nick Cave to death. I mean, even before you covered them, stuff like My Lines, I was thinking, like Thirsty Dog. This is so good. This is stupid good. Like, I can hear it and it's grand. But how did it? I mean, I can see the crack on your webcam. Was that from the Nick Cave cover?
There's rumours. There's rumours it could be that. Yeah, that was quite a stressful week-long period. That was, because we got told. Well, we knew about it ages ago, to be honest.
Yeah.
We just didn't know anything about it, and then we're like, shit, right, we need a cover. What did it? And there was a few different.
I tried to.
You came up with the idea of doing it.
I tried to play it like months and months ago, and I decided I want to try and play it again. I was watching videos. I thought, I was really overcomplicating it for myself, and it's literally the same thing, just over and over and over again. I was like, well, since I figured it out, how about we just try and cover it, and then like you pull a piece of thread, and then it all just starts to unravel, and then you end up in a wormhole. We never thought we were going to finish it, and endless bits of garage band and people on keyboards.
Yeah, it's because we've got like absolutely no idea how to mix or master or anything like that.
Yeah, neither.
So it was a big learning curve, really. I did. Well, we all tried. We got all the stuff down, but we probably had a bit too much to drink by the end of that first evening. Yeah. There was some stuff that you couldn't really use, and other bits. But then, so like some of the vocals were pretty trash. But the problem was, like we'd got rid of all the mics and that, taken them all down, I think. So if we put them back up again, it's all going to sound different. So we'd have to do the whole thing again. And we'd have enough time. So I was just like sitting there, like trying to like meddle with these like little bits, like cutting like minuscule little bits, like bars and stuff.
We had two different microphones to record the whole thing as well.
Nice.
And no one knew how to use GarageBand. We didn't have a pop shield, so we had to borrow a pair of tights off my sister. Or my mum, and we had that like with a peg hanging over the front. It was the most DIY thing we've ever done. And then
sounds beautiful.
It's
fun. Definitely fun, but it was a lot of stress as well. I don't know, but it came out all right, I think, in the end. Not too bad. Consider the fact we ain't really recorded anything else. Well, we've done like demos for our own. But nothing for public consumption. So, but by the end of it, I think we'd listened to it so much. We're like, well, it's going out how it is. I don't care anymore.
This is us.
Unfiltered. I don't think I can ever listen to that album again. But other than the fact that we bought it for my dad for Christmas, and he just plays more new No News from Nowhere, just over and over and over and over and over again.
Lazarus is underrated, I feel. It's stupid.
Oh, it's my favourite album.
It's in my top 3
It's
next.
like the most accessible one, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
It's so like guitar. It's as much of a straight up rock album as like they have. I think.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that sort of moves away from like the sort of gothier kind of early stuff, and then the later stuff. So it's a good. You can play it at a party. I think you can like sit there and have that in the background. It's
our kind of parties, yeah, maybe not like a funeral or.
Yeah, no, well, I don't.
Nick Cave at a funeral.
Go to funerals for the party aspect, Connor.
Yeah, I'm not awake.
I'm gonna be awake. Covering I listened to the last thing I listened to was the Idiot Prayer album.
I quite enjoyed that, considering there was absolutely no drums. I was like, I really enjoyed it.
That was so good.
I remember watching the live stream hammered when it premiered. I was hammered.
Exactly the same.
I was sitting here with my bottle of Jack, just going like, just sort of, come sell your ships. Just like in the chair, like, yeah.
Yeah, we were in tears by the end of it, weren't we? Yeah, we're all just like blubbering, covered in. Sweet. It was just, it was a mess.
I'd love. There's a little bit. I forget what song it is. There's a bit at the end of. It might have been Jubilee Street. He hits a wrong note, and he just sort of smiles to himself. He's like, he just kind of kept it in. But no, I appreciate how you chose a song like that because, like, again, like if you couldn't tell how much I gas on about him, just saying I'm a huge fan of him. But like, typically, people will go for like a Red Right Hand or whatever for a cover, which is fine. Obviously, it's a great song, but it was cool to see someone picking up like an obscure one by him. So I really appreciate that.
It was totally out of our comfort zone as well.
Yeah.
So
no, but the thing is, we have played it before. We played it when in like.
Oh, Jacob, I'm not playing it live, mate. Like, we all played it.
I want to hear it live.
No, we're not playing it. You know what? We actually, when we were practicing for the horn, we did a discussion. It's so boring when it's just like
over and over again.
Right? Yeah, and I was just like, nah, this ain't gonna work, is it? Everyone have left by the time we finish the first verse. It's like, you do really need those keys and some stuff in there to kind of lift it up a bit.
Yeah. Have you seen them live?
Yeah, a couple of times.
Yeah. I was introduced to them at Glastonbury 2013, and he was playing Stagger Lee, and he was on the Pyramid stage, and I had no idea who he was. And because of the nature of the lyrics of it, my dad was my dad was just like, Connor, listen to this. And I was like, oh my word. And then it just kind of disappeared out of my brain. And Jacob said to me about him. And then, ever since then, it's kind of been a bit of a thing for us.
When we went to Dublin to see him a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah,
I completely forgot that. Patty Smith supported as well, so it was just like a mega day.
That must have been a whole tour thing because I saw him in London with Patty Smith, All Points East, a couple of years ago. She was like the main support.
Yeah, because so basically that gig was announced literally the day after we'd got tickets to go to Dublin.
Oh yeah, we went all the way to Dublin. They announced it.
Cheers, mate. Nice one. Wow, we've got to get out. It's not like he's ever going to play in England, is it? Right to Dublin. He's like half hour away. So what have we done? Yeah, where is it? Is it O2?
You went to the O2.
Was the O2 the old Millennium Dome thing? That's that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw him there as well. He was like mega. It was so good.
I've only been there once to see Queens of the Stone Age. Oh no, I went to see Pearl Jam, and my seats were behind the stage, and I was behind a pole as well. So I couldn't have got the worst seats to have. I had to spend the whole gig like that, like trying to look at Eddie Vedder, but they turned around and played a song the other way. And I was like, it's not enough, but it was okay.
Away from Nick Cave, because we could talk about it for years if I could. What's next for Sourdough? You mentioned that you've done some demos over lockdown. What's been pieced together? What's sort of the next move? If, we're lucky, we can get some more recording studio time in. What's going to happen next, do you think?
We've got bits and bobs. We've had some so we're going to do some, we should have already them done by now, but obviously we went back into lockdown. We were going to do some recordings at the beginning of December. But and that's sort of like some stuff we've been playing like in our live set for about, I don't know, 6 months to a year. Not all of it. There's a cut. We're going to do
one new song, weren't it?
Yeah, one new song. We had we were going to do 3 or 4 tracks basically.
Right.
In terms of actual demos, we've got like some bits and bobs that I've sort of recorded and sent to Bish, and like we're trying to do sort of just basically get a feel for how a song's going to come together kind of thing. But that's all it can be at the
Yeah.
minute.
The dynamic of it all's pretty much changed, like, completely, hasn't it? Like, well, there was a short amount of time, because I think you could practice if you had a paid event. So
Something like
we're able to do that, but other than since that, it's just been like little bits and pieces, going over, recording on your iPhone, seeing what you can play to it, something like that, and then you all actually get in one room and you forget the first set of songs that you learned on the set list that you meant to know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
bit of a sham at the minute. But yeah, we do have EP or a selection of 3 or 4 songs that will be put together and put out at some point, hopefully. I don't know, let's say by spring next year, but who knows at this point.
Yeah.
But there's I've done quite a bit of writing, and having to do this. Well, not having to, but like doing this the Red Right Hand cover, the Nick Cave cover.
Yeah.
Kind of bits of Bish put the drums down first and that, and like sent it across to me, and then we sort of built up that way rather than me sort of giving stuff to him. Sort of thing. But, like, we're trying to do that a bit more. He's been sending across like different beats and stuff, and then I've sort of been writing off the back of those kind of rhythms and things like that, and those timings, and try to sort of build it up a different way. So just to see what difference that kind of makes. Yeah. I think trying to write a little bit faster, sort of not sitting and messing about with a song for like 3 or 4 days, just trying to get as much out, and then can kind of send it back and things like that. And so it's a different way of kind of working.
In a way, like lockdown and stuff happening kind of helps you. So when we made the first set list to like kind of play at the Hort, it was like, oh, we've got a gig, we've got our first gig in like a month, and we've got 3 songs that we've written and we actually know. So Jock had like a bit of a splurge of writing, and we had to get it all down. But whereas lockdown happened, it's more of so you have more time to work on something, because if you're in a room with each other, it's kind of like, okay, you play something, I'll play the first thing that comes straight to my head, we'll play that, we'll bash it out, and then it kind of develops over a series of gigs and practices, rather than if somebody sends you this bit, you can actually sit down, you put it in your headphones, you spend a good like hour, rather than like 5-10 minutes, and you think, oh, you can actually give your best kind of version of what you want it to sound like.
Yeah, totally.
Rather than it developing those, like some of our songs, the first time we play it, and then 2 months later, it will sound completely different to what it'll be like. It'll be the same kind of arrangement, but you'll just add little bits and pieces, or you think this bit sounds better and that bit sounds better. So yeah, I think
a lot of that happened as well when we came back to doing this other bit, like to doing this practice. Kind of what Bish was saying, like we were trying to sort of relearn the songs that we've like forgotten.
You learn them wrong.
Like bit, you pretty much rewrite the whole drums to a couple of the songs, haven't you? Like
yeah, because I just couldn't remember them. I was just like, is this right? I think it sounds right. And then you end up with something kind of similar. Like obviously, some of the songs that you've already recorded, it don't really matter because you've got that to listen to remind you. But when it comes down to songs that you haven't played in like 6-7 months, it's just kind of like something feels right, but I don't think I'm playing the exact same thing. So then you end up getting something that's close to it, and maybe that's the beauty of it. Maybe the beauty of it is that like nothing you ever play will be exactly the same as the first time you play it, and maybe you'll get a better idea from that. But sometimes it's really frustrating. There's this bit on one of the songs that I swear I'm still just not playing it right now, and I just think I'm just going to go with the new version.
Yeah, you have to give in. There's a point that you just have to give in, and just sort of like, right.
You just have to be like, if nobody else turns around and gives you a weird look when you're practicing, then it's fine.
Yeah.
But a lot of our songs anyway, especially like the earlier ones, they've like we've never been much of ones we'd practice them in. There'd be a development over like 6 months. They wouldn't be like, okay, we've got to like methodically work on this within one session.
Yeah.
It's been like a kind of like a group discussion. We've gone back in the practice room, we've added bits and pieces, and then once it probably takes over a series of live shows and practices like 4 to 5 months to actually have something that would probably be like, okay, this is really good. Maybe we'll consider it to be recorded. And then you've also got to see other aspects like how like my lines that was changed a lot by the producer we worked with ourselves, and obviously we decided it by how the crowd reacted to how we played and things like that. So like, yeah, the response from the crowd, and obviously that was a bit of a toe tapper and people were dancing to it. So there's like a whole load of things that come into the mix, apart from how bloody fast it is, and not playing drums very much over lockdown, and then playing it again, and everyone going, "Are you playing that slow? You're playing that really slow, aren't you?" And I'm like, I'm trying. Yeah.
2 songs in 45 minutes, Connor.
Yeah. I'm just like sitting there like, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's all good fun. I suppose it poses a new challenge, really.
Totally. Yeah. We all got posed new challenges, I feel. And it's like, I think the common theme of this whole series so far, whenever I talk to people, they've all been like, "Oh yeah, I didn't really do it much over lockdown. I feel bad." It's like, yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. You know, you're never going to have an opportunity like that ever again to not do anything. That was the perfect time to not do anything. So you shouldn't feel bad about not doing anything, you know. Also, it gives, like, I think for me at least, it's probably happened for you guys, because you're away for so long, now you're back into the swing of it more so. Even without gigs, you're like, "Oh yeah, let's go, let's just do it."
Yeah,
it kind of gives you all the forward momentum that you sort of fall forward, I guess.
Yeah, there's a bit you get a bit of a momentum, don't you?
Yeah, totally.
Definitely.
I can't wait. Whenever the hell that will be, I can't wait for it.
We were so close, but
you were so close,
like days. But well, actually, to be fair, I'm probably going to play the gig.
Like, no, you don't have COVID. Like,
I was like, I'm definitely not ill.
Definitely fine.
Yeah.
I'll get another one just in case.
It is what it is. You can't change that, and it's not your fault. Again, that's not your fault either. It happens.
Exactly. Like, yeah,
it happens. But yeah, I mean, as long as you weren't definitely injured by it, and you guys were all good regardless of no gig, then all's well, I guess.
Yeah.
In the end.
Could have really done with a gig though.
Could have done with a gig.
They're really Moorish.
I mean, wait, we've done about Charlie though. He's doing something right now, isn't he? Poor lad.
Yeah. He's probably tucked up in bed.
He's a little ill.
He's
on the commode.
Bed on the loo, one of the two. He's taking a pillow with him now. I don't know. Getting a bit of rest on the side.
A little bit of kid. A local act or like a new rising act which you've been listening to recently, which you can't recommend enough. Anything at all? I'd love to hear it.
Gay Lips. I can't say the album because we're not allowed to swear.
Okay.
But F the Man Stole the Plan. I'll have to say it like that. Absolutely banging record. I think that actually came out last year now. But
our label mates, Dois Padres as well.
Yeah.
Give them a listen
as well. That was banger. Was it the hustle, and then just before that they brought out No Better as well. They're both like banging little tracks.
I've been listening to loads of Dry Cleaning as well, but I'm pretty sure they've been out for quite a while. They've got a new track that just come out.
Nah, yeah, that's all. In terms of sort of local up and coming bands, that's what I've been listening to recently. Nice. And loads of like Australian punk. It's like not like Amil the Sniffers and stuff. Hold on, what's that? What are they called? I keep listening to this one band.
I don't know. I'm
The Saints.
It's not. Oh, have I? I thought you were going to say Chats then.
Nah. I do like them. But yeah, the Saints. It's like a 1979 album. It's like so good.
Give a shout out to Vandalism Begins at Home.
Yes.
That's about it.
Ben Barry, James Cunliffe, all the lads.
Lovely lads.
All of them. Cheers.
It's good to have that network right now. It feels like, you know what I mean. There's a cracking network out there.
There's a lot of good fanzines that are kind of keeping music alive over this sort of this dark period, I think.
Yeah. Oh, we'll give a shout out to Charlie as well. I hope he's
sleep well, my sweet
made
prince.
it off the toilet. Yeah.
We can hope.
Yeah.
Boys, thank you so much for tonight. This has been absolutely
grand.
Pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Stupid good. I'm glad to finally chat about Nick Cave. Whatever excuse I'll take it, run with it. So that was a blessing. But yeah, a fan of you guys. I'm ready to see you guys whenever the heck that may be. So yeah, cracking stuff, lads. Thank you so much for this.
Thanks for having us.
No worries, mate.